Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning, Judge.
Looks like we're waiting on Miss Gillette. So as soon as she gets on here, we'll get started. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Mr. Knowles, you're here for Casey Schultz, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll go on the record. This is in the District Court of Elk County, Kansas. Case is entitled State of Kansas versus Casey Schultz. Would counsel announce appearances, please?
May it please the court, the state appears by Jill Gillette, County Attorney.
Yes, Judge. Pete Knowles on behalf of defendant Casey Schultz.
All right, looks like we're here for arraignment this morning. Mr. Knowles, does your client need a formal reading of the charges?
No, sir.
All right, and how does he wish to plead today?
Judge, at this time, he would enter a plea of not guilty. However, I have talked with the state, and prior to entering, I think we're going to be able to dispose of this and have an agreement to present to your honor if we could have a disposition date.
All right, I'll show a not guilty plea being entered. How much time do you think you'll need to finalize this agreement?
Not long, Judge. I'll probably defer to the state. I think we just need to have a brief conversation, and then I'm not sure if there's any paperwork we'll need to generate, but I would need more than a few weeks. I'm not sure what Madam Prosecutor's schedule looks like.
Judge, I don't know if we can do the December 7th date or if you want to go 4 weeks out to January man, that's not on a 4-week schedule. 11th.
Well, December 4th is my only Elk County date. I just have that arraignment setting on December 4th at 1. I've already got one, looks like a couple JC cases set there now. Do you just have 30 minutes available in those time slots, Jill?
Well, I start at 1:30 with Judge Webster. Are those JCs with me? Because I don't have them down.
It shows that they are, just for a pretrial.
Okay.
22 JC 2 and 3. Otherwise, we're looking at January 10th at 9 o'clock in the morning. Does that work on your calendar, Mr. Knowles?
Yes, Judge.
Judge, that's the second day of a jury trial.
Well, pretty much any of these settings will be potential interference with a jury trial, though, correct?
No, if we did it on your Greenwood docket, which is a Thursday, there wouldn't be any problem, and I can take the file with me to Greenwood. If we did it on
well, I'm just going to keep it on an Elk County docket. If you have a jury trial get announced, then we can deal with it then. But I'm going to set it for January 10th at 9 o'clock. That's scheduled as a Zoom docket, Mr. Knowles.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Schultz, you'll need to appear as you have here today, January 10th at 9 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
that should give you all plenty of time to get any agreements in place. If you're unable to reach an agreement and we need to get this put on a jury trial track, we can certainly do that. But for now, I'll just leave it as a pretrial status. So
Understood. Thank you, Judge.
anything else we need to accomplish on this case this morning?
Nothing on behalf of defendant, Judge.
All
Nothing
right. There's nothing further. We'll be in recess. Mr. Schultz and Mr. Knowles, you are excused. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Gary. You're
Yes, Your
on
Honor.
Jamal Solomon. Are you ready to take up that?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I hate to do this, but on Mr. Solomon, would it be possible for me to have a breakout room with Miss Gillette and Mr. House before we take that one up?
That would be fine. I think we've lost Gary.
I think so.
Well, we'll set that up if we get Gary back. Chris, you're here on Aaron Dye. You're muted.
I'm here on that case, Your Honor.
All right. Is that him in the Greenwood County Jail?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, I suppose we can take that up while we're waiting for Gary to, well, that may be. Let's go ahead and take that up. Gary, I'm gonna take up Chris's case real quick, and then we'll take up your case.
That'll be fine, Your Honor, if I don't disconnect again.
Okay. All right, we'll go on the record. We're taking up a Greenwood County case this morning. This is State of Kansas versus Aaron Dye, 22 CR 48. Would counsel announce appearances, please?
May it please the court, the state appears by Jill Gillette, County Attorney.
Chris Pate on behalf of Aaron Dye, who appears from the jail in Greenwood County.
All right, as far as I can tell, we're here on a motion for specific discovery. Is that correct, Mr. Pate?
It is, Your Honor, and this morning I saw that Ms. Gillette had sent in a response last night. After reading that, I think we may just be able to get this portion resolved by agreement. The items I've requested are in paragraph 9, subparagraphs A through E. Or I'm sorry, A through F. I would withdraw the request for paragraph 9E after further review. I think I may have misread a case a little bit, but all the other records, 9A, B, C, D, and F, I would request. And in reviewing Ms. Gillette's response, it looks like she has no opposition to that.
All right, Ms. Gillette.
D is also not something that's kept, but I've already requested updated records. I keep full records on the 2 canines that we've had in our county scanned in. And so I just only have to get the updated records, which I've already requested from the new canine handler. Miles had him at the time, but now Sergeant Cordell is our canine handler, so he maintains the file on Kilo's training. So he'll be sending me printouts from the PACS, which PACS is an online training record provided by one of the training organizations. So as soon as I get those printouts, I'll pass them along to Mr. Pate.
Mr. Pate, does that response satisfy your request?
It does, Your Honor, and if there's any further issue, we can address it, but I'm guessing that'll fully resolve our request.
Okay. All right, and I believe we already have this case set for hearing next month for trial, perhaps?
We
I
have
think
a
we,
hearing on 12/7.
All right, are there any other matters that need to be addressed this morning?
not from my end, Your Honor.
All right, we'll be in recess. Thank you for having Mr. Dye available from the Greenwood County Jail, but you are excused at this time. Thanks,
Thank you.
Chris. All right. Gary, you need a breakout, or Tony, you need a breakout room with Mr. House and Miss Gillette.
Yes, please.
All right, we'll set that up now. Mr. Solomon will address your case as soon as they return from the breakout room.
Yes, sir.
All right, are we ready to proceed?
Your Honor, I'd like to have a short breakout room with Mr. Solomon. I haven't been able to talk to him, and it won't take more than 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay, we can set that up.
Thank you, Judge.
That actually, let me let it here.
All right, we'll go on the record. Case is entitled State of Kansas versus Jamal Lamont Solomon, 20 CR 28. Will counsel announce appearances, please?
May it please the court, the state appears by Jill Gillette, County Attorney.
Your Honor, the defendant appears by Zoom from the Elk County Jail, and I'm Gary House, his attorney.
All right, we are here for hearing on a warrant to show cause announcements. Mr. House.
Your Honor, we do not have a resolution of the case. I think the county attorney and I can, and possibly Mr. Bauer can make our recommendations to you, and then leave the decision to you. We would stipulate that the costs haven't been paid off, and that defendant has tested positive in some of these drug tests over the years, and but I think we each have recommendations on how it ought to be disposed, and they're not exactly the same. So,
Okay, there's also allegations that he hasn't reported as directed and hasn't obtained employment and has admitted to marijuana and methamphetamine use. Is he stipulating to all of those?
as to the employment situation, he has had a job for the last month with an investment company that remodels homes, and they in fact have assisted him today in coming up with a sum of money which he can pay on costs, $400 to be precise, and indicated they could loan him the balance of whatever costs there are to try to get this case resolved.
What about not reporting as directed? Is he stipulating to that?
Yes. I've talked with Mr. Bauer about that, and that we'd have to stipulate to that. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Solomon, is it your decision here today to waive your right to a hearing? At that hearing, the state would be required to put on evidence to show that you violated the terms and conditions as your probation as alleged by a preponderance of the evidence?
Yes.
You understand at that hearing, you would have the right to put on evidence of your own and have your attorney cross-examine the state's witnesses?
Yes.
You understand that when you stipulate or admit to the violations, the court will find that you violated the terms and conditions of your probation?
Yes, sir.
And you understand upon making that finding, there would be several options available, such as extending your probation, ordering you serve a jail sanction, or in some cases, outright revoking your probation and having you serve the balance of your time?
Yes, sir.
All right, has anybody made any threats or promises to get you to waive your right to a hearing and enter these stipulations?
No, sir.
All right, I will find that you've made a knowing and voluntary waiver of hearing and admitted to the violations as alleged. Miss Gillette, what is your recommendations for the disposition?
Judge, the defendant was sentenced to 12 months underlying suspended for probation. His sentencing was, I was trying to find the exact sentencing date. His sentencing was almost 3 years, well, almost 3 years ago. And essentially, we've had to have multiple extensions and revocations because he disappeared last time for 8 months. This time we're sitting here and he's disappeared again, stopped reporting, had positives on admissions for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times before he took off again. He's paid maybe $40 in 3 years. He was recommended to get a drug and alcohol evaluation and get treatment. He doesn't. I remember making the same argument at his last revocation hearing that he doesn't want to change. He doesn't want to quit using drugs. He doesn't want to do his treatment. He doesn't want to comply with any of the court orders at all. And he disappears every time. Basically, I have to ask for him to serve part of it or all of his underlying. When you make a plea and you agree to that kind of term to hang over your head. Now, I am willing to recommend the court shorten his sentence a little bit. But otherwise, he's essentially spent 3 years making Mr. Bauer have to chase him around. And that's, Mr. Bauer isn't supposed to have to chase him. He is supposed to report to Mr. Bauer. And, you know, he does not demonstrate he can follow the court orders. He's not amenable to probation. Frankly, I think he needs to serve his sentence and have the rest of his costs sent to collections. I know that it's important for the victims to get paid. So if the restitution part was paid, I would agree to have him serve 6 months instead of 12, because then the victims are made whole. But otherwise, he agreed to serve 12 months in the Elk County jail. And he's forfeited the ability to be out in the public because he can't stop breaking the law and he's not amenable to probation.
Miss Gillette, due to the computer situation, I'm not able to access my docket notes. How many revocations has Mr. Solomon had?
I don't remember this is his second or his third. Let me look, Judge. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Bauer.
We did an extension at the end of his first year. He signed an extension and then there was a revocation filed the following year. So this is his second revocation.
Plus
And do you recall what the result was of the first revocation hearing?
I have the journal entry, Judge. He had a sanction for the time that he had been in custody. He admitted to not making any payments. He had 72 days of time served at that time. and you ordered an extension of his probation and to try to give him more time to try to make more payments. And he had an extension before that one. So essentially, he did a voluntary extension because he hadn't been doing what he needed to do. Then we had the revocation, gave him a 72-day sanction.
Okay. Does he
With
have other jail credit besides the 72 days?
He was in for a while when he first was arrested. Then he has the 72 days from November of 22 and going back. And so I don't know what his exact first few days were, but he essentially has what I look like is just shy of 3 months.
Is he in jail now?
Yes. Isn't he?
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he was arrested on the warrant, bonded out. He is not in custody at this time.
All right, thank you. Mr. House, what are your recommendations?
Your Honor, I realize this case is almost 3 years old. My client has had one prior probation revocation hearing and was given a second chance. This would be his second. He has obtained employment recently. He has been employed for 1 month with an investment firm that remodels houses. He's paid $12.50 an hour, and he gets at least 40 hours a week in. That's a new job. As to what he owes, as indicated by Mr. Bauer, I think he's only paid about $40. He comes today with help from his employer with $400 that he can pay today. And he can get a loan from them to pay the balance of costs. That includes a $500 restitution figure. And this $400, if directed to go towards restitution, would pay 80% of that.
How come he didn't
recommend
tender
that-
that payment before court started?
He had it prepared to pay, but the sheriff's office said to wait until after the hearing, my understanding. He's got it in hand, ready to pay it. Is that right, Mr. Solomon?
Yes, sir.
What we would recommend under all the circumstances is, first of all, there's an attorney fee of $450. He's had difficulty, obviously, in getting anything paid, and restitution is very important. We want that to be paid. If the court would consider reducing the amount of his liability for the attorney fees or waive them, that and then he pay the balance, pay $400 today and pay the balance within 10 days from his employer, and then serve a 10-day sanction in 5 weekends because he wants to keep his job, and then terminate the case. That'd get it off Mr. Bauer's workload after 3 years, and it would allow Mr. Solomon to keep a job that he's finally got, and get this behind him. I realize he's violated terms of probation in many ways. He served about 3 months on a 12-month sentence. States indicated they would consider modifying that down. But that's the recommendations we're making today. Give the man who now has a job just an opportunity to pay this off within 10 days and do a 10-day sanction. Broken up into 5 weekends so that he can keep his job.
Thank you, Mr. House. I see that Nick Newton is present on the meeting. Mr. Newton, you were doing a cursory or a supervision of Mr. Solomon for through Montgomery County, is that correct?
Yes.
Anything that you would add here today?
I do not have anything to add to this, no.
Okay, is he still on probation in Montgomery County?
I closed a interest and sent it back to Tony Bauer.
All right, thank you, Mr. Newton. Mr. Bauer, anything you would like to add here today?
Nothing really outside of what's already been said. I have spoken to Mr. Solomon. He did explain his employer was willing to give him a loan. However, they had concerns if he went to jail, he wouldn't be able to work to pay that back off. I did tell him that I would be willing to do something other than an outright revocation to serve the full 12 months as part of my recommendations to the court. Ultimately, it was up to you. If payments were made on that, if he could pay that $400 today. I know I was on the phone with him when he asked about going to pay it, and they told him to wait till after court to go over and make that $400 payment. Because I told him it would be better to have it paid prior to court than to pay after court, because the court gets told all the time, I will make a payment today, and that never happens. So he did attempt to do that, and he was told to wait till after court. I know that. I heard that conversation over the phone.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bauer. Mr. Solomon, anything you would like to say?
No, not really. I mean, like, yeah, I messed up without paying and everything like that, but I mean, I don't know, it's hard to do everything by myself when I got kids to take care of and stuff like that, but I mean, I can have the payments paid, I can have it paid up within the 10 days after I pay the $400 today. And I mean, I don't mind doing the weekend sanctions if that's possible.
All right, thank you, Mr. Solomon. The records I have show that you were sentenced back on October 19th of 2020. So you've had 3 years, over 3 years to get this paid and comply with your probation. You should have been done with this case 2 years ago. The terms and conditions weren't very burdensome. All you had to do was report, stay clean, and pay on fines and restitution. And you haven't been able to do that for 3 years.
All I'm asking is a chance, please, one more chance.
You've had a chance when you got probation to begin with. You got a second chance on your first revocation hearing, and that didn't get your attention. So now you're here again. And
I can guarantee.
What assurances does the court have that you would follow through this time?
It's a guarantee. I have that money paid within 10 days. It's a guarantee.
Mr. Solomon, this is not just about money.
Ms. Gillette, I'm addressing Mr. Solomon. You've had your opportunity to make your recommendations. All right, Mr. Solomon, your probation has been a failure. I'm not going to give you that third chance. I'm going to order that your probation be revoked and you serve the balance of your sentence. I will make one agreement to where if you pay off $500, which would be the restitution to make the victim of your case paid in full, I'll modify your sentence to 8 months. But that $500 payment has to be made in order to get that modification. I'll grant you any time served you have towards your sentence.
Your Honor,
I'll waive any attorney's fees associated with this hearing.
Your Honor, how would I pay the $500 if I'm in jail?
Well, apparently you brought $400 with you. Then you'd have to come up with another $100 and I'd modify it down to 8 months.
From jail? All right, can I have like a couple day, a week or so to get the money up, the rest of the money up? Please.
No,
I'm not even 24 hours.
Mr. Solomon, you don't have a good track record with this court.
I report it every day. Every time I report
You've had 3 years to get employed and get this paid off. I've made my order. You've
Perfect,
got
sir.
30 days to tender the 500 if you want the modification to 8 months.
So okay, I got 30 days while I'm in jail. How can I do anything from jail, sir?
Well, lots of people are able to obtain money from family members, friends, employers while they're incarcerated.
I don't have any family up here, sir. I'm up here by myself. I don't have any. My family.
My orders have been made. Anything further, Ms. Gillette
Not from the state, Your Honor.
and Mr. House?
Yeah, then I understand that the 12-month sentence stands unless he pays $500 within 30 days,
That's
which
correct.
would do away with restitution. But you are, as to attorney fees, you're waiving the attorney fees today. What about the initial attorney fees?
I'm not waiving any additional fees other than the attorney's fees for today's hearing. Anything previously ordered has already been ordered and is not being waived.
Oh, excuse me, Your Honor. I'm gonna lose my house and everything, sir. Please.
Mr. Solomon, you should have thought about that when you
So
got put on probation. My
Okay.
orders have been made.
How much time do I have served on this
If
case
there's
already?
nothing further, we'll be in recess.
I have served on the case already.
Mr. Solomon, you are excused.
How much time do I have served on this case so I can know how much time I have to do?
The jail will be able to give you how much time you've got accumulated.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, we're in recess. Thank you, Mr. Newton, for your appearance. Thank you, Mr. House.
Yes, Your Honor, I think that's all I have today.
All right, I've got one last case set at this time, Corey McCroy.
Judge, he failed to appear at his bond appearance, and there is currently a warrant for him.
Now, I talked to Judge Leigh briefly this morning, and he thought maybe Mr. McCroy was told to appear today at 1:30. Do you know anything about that?
I do not. He is on for a warrant to show cause. If he contacted the court after missing his first appearance, there is a warrant currently outstanding for him with a no bond hold.
So he had a first appearance on this warrant to show cause that he failed to appear on?
Yes, Your Honor.
And when was that first appearance scheduled for? Did he make bond initially?
He made an initial bond, and then last week on Wednesday at 1:30, he failed to appear.
All right, so the warrant to show cause had a $2,500 cash or surety bond. He made that.
Yes, and then he didn't show up for the bond appearance on the first appearance docket in front of Judge Leigh. Judge Leigh issued a new warrant for failure to appear with a no bond hold.
Okay. Mr. Bauer, do you have anything to add?
He contacted me yesterday, said he thought he had missed a court hearing. I told him he had, and he was going to contact the court clerk, Erin. He's going to contact her to see what was done. I know I spoke with Erin yesterday, and she had talked about possibly having him show in person today at 1:30 for first appearance. I don't know if that actually was set up and done or not.
All right, so if he would have appeared at his scheduled first appearance docket, they would have given him this date.
Yes.
Okay.
He wasn't there to get this hearing date.
All right, well, if there's already a warrant in place for his failure to appear, I'm not gonna do anything different today. So. All right, anything else we need to address today?
No, that's all I have, Judge. He bonded at the Wilson County Court. So, and he was given November 1st at 1:30 as his hearing date on his bond.
Okay. All right, thank you all.
Thanks, Judge.
All right, are you Mr. Tillapaw?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Tony, we're taking up a Greenwood County domestic case at this time, so you're excused if you like.
All right, thank you, sir.
And Elk County Sheriff, you're excused also. We're done with that docket. All right, Miss Rankin, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
All right. We've had an issue with the statewide court system. Computers are down. So right now I don't have access to the documents in your case. We're trying to make arrangements to get some of those sent to us. I have this down as a motion for parenting time. Is that what you all were hoping to take up today?
Yes. Am seeking legal counsel though, and I haven't heard back from my lawyer, and they asked me to see if I could get a continuance. So,
Who filed the motion for parenting time?
this one I believe is the one that I filed.
Okay, give me just a minute. I just finished up.
Sir, I
Go ahead.
got one question. I filed first and I'm still waiting for a court date. I don't know what's going on with it. I filed a month before she did, and I talked to the judge that was supposed to handle the deal, and he said that since neither one of us had ever properly served each other, that they couldn't do nothing, so that I had to redo it or something.
Was that through Greenwood County?
No, Elk County.
Okay. Oh, this is an Elk County case, not a Greenwood County case. I apologize.
Yeah.
All right, if you'll give me a few minutes, I just finished up a criminal docket, and I'm going to try to see if we have any additional information on this case.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Tillapa, are you still on there with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're not on the record yet. I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to proceed today. And the situation, as I briefly explained to you, on October 12th, there was a shutdown of the court's computer system statewide. So we don't have access to anything because it was all filed electronically, and they weren't maintaining paper copies, as a lot of courts are not doing these days. So the clerk's office isn't even able at this time to provide us with any of the documentation on this case. Now, I don't know, it's kind of an indefinite situation when they're going to be up and running, when we're going to get access to those, but anything filed prior to October 12th is kind of lost in limbo right now. Do you all have paper copies of anything that you filed?
Yes, sir, I do.
And Ms. Rankin, do you have paper copies?
I have paper copies that I filed. I do not have them. I'm at work right now. I don't have them here at work with me right now.
Okay. Well, let me ask you all this. Are there matters in your case that are of an emergency nature and need to be addressed now? Or is this a situation where we can set it out and then hopefully be able to either see if the computer system is going to be up and running, or try to accumulate paper copies that you may have and get those circulated to everyone prior to the next hearing?
I don't see no emergency. We've been just splitting the kids week by week.
Okay. So it sounds like you don't have a problem, Mr. Tillapa, setting this out to give us time to hopefully either obtain copies of everything and proceed after everybody has all of those documents.
Sounds like that's our only plan. It sounds fine to me.
Okay. What about your position, Ms. Rankin?
Well, like I said, this is the court date that I had set, and I needed a continuance anyways because I wanted my lawyer to be able to go over my paperwork. I just wanted something saying that when I go to pick up my kids from Preston on our time that we agreed on, that he actually lets me pick up my kids.
Okay, is that an issue that you want to try to get closure on today, or that we take up when we eventually take up the motion?
Well, I guess we can just wait. Like I said, I'm seeking legal counsel right now. So, and with your computer systems down, that's fine. So hopefully it'll give me time to talk to my lawyer.
All right, Angela, let's try to find a new date. And I don't think we need to utilize the criminal dockets. We can special set this. Can we not?
We can. I have December 21st at 1:15.
Does that work on both of your calendars? And
Sounds good to me, sir.
do you both live in Elk County?
Yeah,
Yes,
we live about 3 blocks away.
We
Okay,
live in Granola.
all right, we can do that. Hearing by Zoom, if that's easier on everybody.
Well, yes, that'll work, sir.
Okay, well, we'll set it for Zoom for now. If this case ends up, if we go to trial or something like that, I would typically do that in the courtroom. But while we're trying to figure things out, let's keep it at Zoom. And if you all have copies of your paperwork, if you wouldn't mind trying to get those to us by email,
Okay.
that would be helpful.
What's that email address, sir?
Angela, can you provide that, please?
It's Angela, Angela .cool, COOL at kscourts.org.
And Angela, I
And
assume we have both of their email addresses.
I do not have any information from them, Judge.
Okay.
If
Can
I
you
could
all
take this
provide
off-
your, all right, I'll just let you pass that information, Angela.
Could I go ahead and take this off YouTube to get that information?
Yeah.